Hi, welcome fellow entrepreneurs. My name is Darlene Zebel and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this little bite-sized video, it takes about 5 minutes, and I'm going to share with you what you need to know about setting up banking relationships to make sure that your business will be a success. You may be surprised you need more than one checking account. So let me show you what I do for my businesses. The first thing I recommend is that you have more than one bank as a bank and a banking relationship. I would start with a community bank, a bank that's local to you and easy to access. And I would also set up an account with a large retail bank. And there's a couple of reasons for this. In Louisiana, when Katrina hit, people who were with community banks couldn't get money out of their bank accounts. They were stuck. Another thing, those that during the pandemic, those small businesses who tried to receive PPP loans, the big banks got the money first. However, some of the big banks wouldn't lend to little tiny small businesses. So the community banks were the best choice. So there's pros and cons in having more than one banking relationship. And I recommend that you deal with more than one bank. Now, the second thing you need to focus on is having several checking accounts. And here's why. And I'll explain to you what happened to me along the way in the 4 businesses that I successfully owned. I have a deposit checking account, and this is where all my deposits are wired in. Most people today, their deposits are going to come from credit card processing, wired in. Very few people are going to get checks. So from there, if it is a credit card, I set up a separate bank account just for managing credit card receipts. Once the money comes into the credit card checking account, I move it into my deposit account. And there's a reason for this. Any company or association or group that has your account number can wire money in and can take money out. So you really need to be protected. So I typically have a checking account for credit card receipts from there, and it's easy today with online banking to move your own money around. I have a separate checking account for employees. Now, if you don't have employees, you won't need to do this. But if you do have employees, I suggest you keep a separate checking account just to process your payroll. I had my payroll account with a very, very large retail bank. And about 5 years ago, somebody who worked at the bank embezzled money out of my payroll account. They actually drafted over-the-counter checks that made it look like it was part of my payroll. The dollar amounts were very similar to what other people received in my payroll. And I was fortunate that I had a bookkeeper that checked every penny every day. And when she saw 2 check numbers that weren't part of the payroll processing series, first thing I did was call the bank. And they refused to give me any information until I insisted on speaking to somebody higher up. And I insisted on knowing where the checks were cashed. And I found out they were cashed in Las Vegas, where I did not have a business presence. So I suggested that they had somebody with a gambling problem. So they immediately closed my account. They immediately released the payroll checks I did approve, and the rest of them they put a hold on. So the person who was embezzling couldn't take any more money out of my account. These are true stories. And the same thing with the credit card checking account. You can get chargebacks, and by the time you try and win the chargeback back from customers, your credit card processor is going to pull the money out of your checking account. So you really, really need to have control over all your money. And the same thing with accounts payable, those people that you're paying by wire. If you're, moving money to somebody else, and then I have a savings account, which is where I keep my profits, and by the end of the year, then I decide how I'm going to handle that cash. But I typically have 5 checking accounts for each business. And the more it grows, when I had 150 employees, I had checking accounts all over the country. So these are details that you really, really have to focus on. You have to have a really good bookkeeper if you're getting too large and you can't manage it yourself. But I suggest you know where every penny is every day, because you never know who's going to have their hands in the till to take money out of your So if this can happen to me, it can happen to you. So protect yourself, get more than one banking relationship, get more than one checking account for your businesses. Keep control, of the money. Make sure you keep your eyes on it every day, which is easy to do now with online banking. There's no excuse. And if you don't have time to do it yourself, make sure you get a top-notch bookkeeper that knows exactly what to look for and when. Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to this channel so you get messages on future videos that I'm going to be launching. And you can send me some questions in my email in my account, and I'll be able to answer them through these videos. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and wishing you great success.